After knocking Octavio back into his vacuum one more time, he says every time, so sad. There's definitely some type of uniquity for each Octavio boss fight that I've noticed in all three games. Unfortunately for me, I do not have myself any gameplay from Pokemon. I don't even have Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu gameplay, which is really disappointing. But I decided to substitute with the most anime thing walkthrough that I have in my backlogs, and that would have been Splatoon, you know? But before I get into any business about Pokemon, please hit the like and subscribe buttons so that I can reach my goal by 2026. It's only been a month and I've only released so few videos, and anyone who cooperates I'll greatly appreciate. Please enjoy the video. For starters, I wanted to start the video with a topic that has been talked among Nintendo Land more than once, and that would be Pokemon Legends Z to A. And when I first heard of it and saw the leaked trailer, I thought, oh, it must be like some past version of Kalos, right? Let's look back at Pokemon Legends Arceus for a minute. Because back then, Pokemon Legends Arceus had Sinnoh in the form of Haizui. Now, I'm going to take one quick moment to note something. Sinnoh, Unova, and Kalos all have their history with two very special legendary Pokemon, along with a third legendary Pokemon that seem to be above them, Unova being the exception. Sinnoh and Kalos have the upper one of them. For Sinnoh, it's Arceus being above Dialga and Palkia, and for Kalos, it's Zygarde being up against Xerneas and Yveltal. We never did get sister-type games for Pokemon Sinnoh and Pokemon Kalos, now did we? All I remember is there being a Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which is a reboot generation, and for Kalos, there being Pokemon XY, no reboot generation at all. Which means I guess we could count Pokemon Legends Arceus as the sister-type game for Sinnoh that we never got. You know? If this is the same case for Pokemon Legends Z to A, then I'd love to see a little fun story from the past of Kalos, like discovering Mega Evolution and seeing how Zygarde would be in the events of that barren wasteland at the end of Pokemon Legends XYZ. Because at the end of Pokemon XYZ, there's the final episode isn't on Ash actually. The previous episode to it is. This episode, on the other hand, features the story of Alexa and Professor Sycamore going to some ruins of what was once a barren wasteland after accidentally discovering it on a satellite image. This man had recorded all of his knowledge from the legends of X, Y, and Z, Xerneas, Yveltal, and Zygarde. Yveltal had turned his home into a barren wasteland, and his fiancée had been turned to stone and had life sucked out of her by Yveltal. Xerneas had healed everything in that barren wasteland after the long journey of that man to find Xerneas, only for everything to be healed in that barren wasteland of home, except for the young woman. There's even these soldiers who had gone to the tree of what Xerneas had become, which healed everything in that area, and they tried to burn it down. This is where Zygarde stepped in to restore order. If we get a Pokemon Legends Z to A game in that time setting, then we may even get to see what the adventure was like. I mean, genuinely, for me, that would be so cool to see Kalos in the olden times. But that's just how I wanted to start off the discussion for games coming to Switch 2 in Pokemon's case. Another thing I wanted to talk about for Switch 2's Pokemon games would be a reboot generation. I highly doubt that we're going to be getting a new generation of Pokemon until we're at least halfway through Season 3 of the current Pokemon Horizons. I mean, I doubt we'll be seeing any new generations until then. If there's any other reboot generations that we could be getting brought back, I would love to see. I would love to see. I mean, we got reboot generations of Kano and Sinnoh on Switch. Hold on, I'm gonna sneeze. What about another gen of Kano? What if we got like a Pokemon game that featured more than one region? That would be so cool. Like it would like have a selection of 2 to 3 regions that would be traveled across. Seeing that, I would love that, honestly. I even go as far to say we could even get something from Pokemon that's mainly based off of multiplayer like Splatoon, with a little side first player main game campaign. Dude, why not, Nintendo? Being able to do something with Pokemon would be so cool. Make it like Pokemon, something that means like Infinity? Yeah, make it like Pokemon Infinity, where you travel across the world collecting different Pokemon, and there's different venues for multiplayer battles, and you could even go along some of the main Pokemon campaigns. Just spitballing here, but if Nintendo does something like that, I would totally buy that. Trust me. But honestly, I don't really have any idea what Nintendo and Game Freak could do for a reboot generation of Pokemon. Kanto has already been rebooted on Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, following a similar adventure to Ash and Chloe, with Chloe's Eevee never evolving and Ash's Pikachu never evolving. Nintendo and Game Freak has to play their cards right to choose the perfect region remake that isn't Kano and Sinnoh, which is already on the regular Nintendo Switch. For Switch 2, though, they've got to do some things right, otherwise they might not be able to get much money out of it. I've been going for 7 minutes, and it seems like the perfect place to wrap up the video, but psh, if you can get that reference in the comments, then you'll get a shout out in the next video. The video is not done yet. I would like to talk a little bit about the Pokemon anime before I wrap up. Ash's journey ended with him going back to Pallet Town and helping out Professor Oak for a little while, and after having a little run-in with Gary, Ash set out on his new journey, and the final episode shows him trying to make it to the Pokemon Center, but ends up running into a mysterious forest where he meets some ghost kid. It's really bone-chilling. In the end, Ash doesn't make it to the Pokemon Center where his dad is, and so after having a couple of croquettes and sleeping, he and Team Rocket run out of the Pokemon Center after hearing an Entei sighting. Keep that in mind for what I'm going to say. If you're subscribed to Netflix, then if you're a Pokemon fan who's subscribed to Netflix, then you'll probably know that there's a live-action Pokemon series coming out, but you've probably also been watching Pokemon Horizons. So far, we have 45 episodes of it, where Liko goes to the Indigo Academy in the Kanto region, and has a run-in with this mysterious group known as the Explorers to get her pendant. Liko is saved by a man named Freed, and she has a run-in with a kid named Roy, who has this ancient Pokeball that's somehow linked to her pendant. They travel to Galar to get answers from Liko's grandmother, and she says that she found the pendant up in the attic, and it inspired her to go on an adventure. Along the way, Liko meets this Black Rayquaza, Liko and Roy meet this Black Rayquaza, which is inside the ancient Pokeball that Roy found, and they also meet a giant Arboliva and a Galarian Moltres, who also have ancient Pokeballs. The grandma explains that these ancient Pokeballs and the pendant are connected to a legendary hero known as Lucius. After finding Lapras and having another run-in with the Black Rayquaza, the Rising Voltaclers decide to go to Paldea to find a little bit of answers and some research, and they end up needing to fight the Black Rayquaza again. So it kind of ends up becoming a race between who can find the rest of the three Pokemon that Lucius has, which includes a Black Rayquaza, which they've had run-ins with, an Entei, and some other Pokemon from the High Sweet region. It kind of looks like... Give me a minute to find its name. I believe the Pokemon's name is Cleavor, but I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, put 2 and 2 together for a minute. Entei is part of the 6 heroes that Lucius has, and Ash and Team Rocket ran out of the Pokemon Center at an Entei sighting. Do you see where I'm going with this? Ash could end up meeting the Rising Volt tacklers. It would be so cool. But the question that remains on everyone's mind is, who the heck is Ash's dad? Why didn't we see him? I mean, it's been the question that's been bugging us for years. Decades, I'd even say. Plus, now we have terastallizing in the Paldea region, and that got me thinking for a moment. There's always been some type of Pokemon power-up boost ever since Kalos. I mean, in Kalos there was Mega Evolution, in Galar there was Gigantamaxing and Dynamaxing, Alola had Z moves, and now we have terastallizing in Paldea. What's next? I was actually asking, what's going to be next? That's what I would like to know. I'm not exactly the best at coming up with theories, so this may have been a bit of an in and out video. So let me know what you thought of this. Please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. I am now at 55 subscribers, and shout out to every subscriber that I've gotten over the past 5 videos. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. Later. Yes, later. Bye-bye.